You would always want to be on the side of having good credit.
Do you think it pays to have good credit? Yeah, what are some of the myths that you hear when it comes to buying a vehicle or financing a vehicle?
Some of the myths. Well, certainly, one of the big things,
Yeah, the
I
biggest,
think
yeah.
I think that really stands out is kind of the old adage, and again, kind of relating my own family history. Very much had that old school mentality of, if you don't got the money, then you can't afford it,
There
right?
you go.
There's some truth to that, but
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's just not so cut and dry anymore, right? Because
right.
just like your friend with his mobile detailing business, he needed to
Hmm.
make an investment to open up more platform to
Right,
access wealth, right?
right.
I think, I think the biggest, that's a big one. We it depends on what your goals are, right?
Yeah, there you go.
What's your 1 year plan, your 5 year plan? Is this just for the joy of life, or is there something
Yeah,
that's going to be beneficial here? That
right.
would be the biggest thing. Not if you don't have the money in the bank already, you can't afford it. That one really
Okay.
stands out as probably the biggest myth
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, you might not have the money in the bank, so to speak. But if that's going to give you access to more wealth, more income driven opportunities, that's where you got to make the checklist. You got to weigh out the good and the bad. And does it make sense?
right. Well, I'm gonna weigh in on that. I guess mine wouldn't necessarily be I think it will be more of misunderstandings. And Ron, I used to see this every single day when I was in car sales. People think approvals are based on brands or models of vehicles. And what I mean by that, I was lastly working at a GMC dealership, Motors. So, people would come in and they would finance Sierras, the Denali trucks, and things like that, Yukons. And if they didn't get approved, their logic was, oh, GMC didn't approve me. So I'm going to go to Chevy because they approve more people. And I'm like, no, they're going to use the
That's not how it
same
works.
lenders, the same lenders that we use. Chevy also uses those same lenders. You're going to get denied by Capital One Auto, Wells Fargo Auto, Chase Auto, Ally Financial. They literally just deny you because of your credit. So you just because you got denied on one vehicle doesn't mean you're going to get approved on another vehicle. It is not specifically based on the type of make and model that you're financing. And another myth that I hear a lot, people would always come in, especially for used cars. Let's say we had a Corvette on the lot. They would be like, hey, what's the note on that Corvette versus the note on this Mustang? And I'm like, look, I get what you're trying to say, but it is not based on the vehicle. Is based on money, right? How many dollars are you financing, right? So a lot of times, man, people just simply just destroyed their credit because they run their credit and get denied at dealership A, and then they drive 2 miles down the road to dealership B, run their credit again for the same amount of money, and get denied again. And now they have 50 hard inquiries on their credit report, and
Exactly.
they just simply don't get it. So, in my opinion, that is one of the biggest myths, man. And I just wanted to hear what your belief was on that. And that makes sense too. A lot of people in the old school mindset ways, they're like, hey, look, if you can't buy it cash, you can't buy it, right? Or if you don't have the money for it, you can't leave off in this vehicle today. So, that is definitely some things I always just joke around with clients that always come to me and they're like, hey, Chris, I'm trying to buy this Tahoe, but what's the monthly payment on it? Can I get approved for a Tahoe or should I look for a Suburban? Right. So
Right.
it's always funny when people say that. And just generally speaking about financing vehicles, something else that I have to go over a lot with people is everyone is like, hey, should I finance through a credit union or should I just go straight to the dealership and let them run my credit and run? I'm going to let you weigh in on that because I
Yeah.
want to tune in after you give your opinion and I want to kind of go over what my viewpoint is on that. So, what do you think is the right choice for a consumer when it comes to auto financing? Should they go straight through their personal bank or credit union, or just say screw it, go to a dealership and just let them do their thing?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely a couple of ways to go about that. Me personally, if you have a good banking relationship already established, particularly with your local credit union, I always recommend to go talk to your own bank first. Because at the end of the day, from the dealership perspective, you're just trying to sell the car, right?
Yeah.
If the bank's going to give you the margin you want, you're going to let it, drive off the showroom floor. But if you have a good relationship, obviously there's going to be more of a human level interest there, right? Your local bank that you deal with understands what you have coming in. Maybe you've had personal loans, or you have a proven history with them. So chances are they're probably going to give you pretty great rates and terms, within your budget, because who better than your bank that handles your money knows what you have coming in and leaving. On the other side of it, on the dealership side, this is where it's it gets a little multi-layered. And what I mean by that is it depends on the guy that's running the finance desk ultimately. Unfortunately, not everybody is created equal in the processes and systems in which, they behold. And, it depends on your situation. Now, if you already know, maybe you have some credit obstacles to overcome and you walk into a subprime dealership, you're gambling on the sense that how structured and care for your credit are they going to give, right? Because if you walk into Joe Schmo's dealership and they just blast you to all 20 lenders that they work, which we see it all the time. I see the inquiries all the time. They're just looking for the yes. There's no personal touch there. There's no protection of your own score. And aside from just the hard inquiries, and again, I think, I'm glad we touched on that, because stacking up hard inquiries, we all know definitely is damning as far, but it's not so much. I think everybody puts the emphasis on the score. It's certainly going to have a score effect, but we know that with wise choices in a few months, those numbers are typically recoupable. The big thing is you go into a lender and they're that careless with your credit and they blast you to 20 banks and you're in a financing situation. The bank's looking at it like, why do you have 20 hard inquiries and no new accounts, right? Because then they start kind of red flagging, like, what are we not seeing? What is everybody else seeing? It kind of just adds another layer of almost a fraud protection, right? A higher risk, a red flag. But, the thing is you can certainly lean on the dealership side of things, but this is where the consumer has to take control and be more involved. Don't allow yourself to just be kind of closed out of the finance person's office, letting them do whatever they do and having a runner going back and forth to you, telling you, well, this is what they came up with. Be involved. And where that really starts, Chris, is people need to more actively be aware of their own credit and monitor their own credit. So when you're walking into a finance situation, a good finance person can look at a bureau of your credit and typically, if they do their job well, have a top 3-4 banks that they know realistically.
There you go.
You check their boxes. And that's the protective touch, but you can't just entrust that, right? Because unfortunately there's plenty of laziness in all industries and people just want to sell a car and they're searching for the yes with minimal work and thought put into it. It's a lot easier just to click a box and hit send than it is to really kind of audit somebody's credit profile. So to protect yourself as a consumer, already have one step ahead of the game by being aware of what's already on your credit, what your score is, what your obligations are, what your obligated monthly, expenditures already are based on your monthly income coming in. Have that accurate. So many people and I'm sure you ran into this in the car industry. So many people don't seem to know what they even make. Right. Like they come in and they tell you they make $6,000 a month, but the math says 4,800, or flip, and they make more than they say they do, which unfortunately isn't the majority of that one. But being aware of those kind of things, having a full monitoring, that allows you to retain the power of the conversation, to walk in and say, okay, now you've seen my credit. Who are you looking to send me to? Who do you think I qualify for? take charge. Let them know that you are monitoring, that you're not authorizing just to be blasted to 20 banks, that you want the understanding based on their preferred dealer status with these lenders. What are the credentials that the bank is looking for? Does it make sense? Do I check the boxes? And make sure that you handcuff them, because again, that can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna weigh in on that also. Ron, I am a guy, man, where I never like to believe there's just one way to get results. There's just one way to become successful in life. And I argue this a lot when it comes to people starting or growing a business. A lot of people are like, hey, should I just buy everything and save everything up and just buy everything cash that I need for my business? Or should I use a credit card to get ahead and get started my business today and just worry about paying it off later? Should I fix my credit to get funding and just pay back the funding balance later? So I'm never the type of guy who like to just preach, oh no, that's the wrong way to do it. You have to do it exactly how I did it, or you're going to fail. Same thing with weight loss. I'm a little bigger guy here, and there's so many programs that's out there: peptides, Ozempic, losing weight naturally, which I actually, am a fan of. And you have fasting, which I also do. And look, there's so many services and people online that are trying to sell the number one way to lose fat, the number one way to build muscle. You need to do this workout. You need to do that workout, or you don't need to do workouts. You need to take this supplement. So there's so many different ways to achieve results in this world. And I just think it's just this day and age that we live in, man, especially this social media day. A lot of people are so focused on selling what they believe is the right thing to do. And when it comes to my clients who come in or they ask like, hey, should I go to the credit union or should I go to a dealership? I never like to weigh in on just one answer because both answers may be good depending on your situation. And I'm a real big person of conveniency, right? And this comes right back down to how my business is structured, is all around conveniency for the client. So I don't want people finding Sturgis Credit Repair and then they have to call in, wait on hold, for an answer, and then, they just want to talk about, hey, what's the price for the service? No, all of that stuff is already on the website. You don't have to call, you don't have to send an email. You literally click the website, sturgiscreditrepair.com, and everything that you need to know is right there in your face. Pricing, estimated time frame, what can be done, what's realistic, what's not realistic, everything that you need to know. So I always tell people to choose an answer that is based on what you consider convenient for you. So
Mm-hmm.
if someone is driving down the street and they're in the market for a vehicle and they're just driving and they're like, oh crap, I like that truck on the side of the road. Well, someone like that person right there, they may be willing to just go into the dealership, let them run their credit and leave off in that vehicle, within an hour. So that person is going to benefit from letting the dealership run their credit and going through their lenders. It is a instant on the spot decision. Now, someone who's looking to purchase a vehicle in the next 2 or 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe year, you have months, in advance of planning to do when it comes to buying a vehicle. In my opinion, it may be more easier for you to just go through a credit union or go through your personal bank. Let them run your credit one time versus, 3, 5, 10, 20 times with a dealership because you can slowly prepare for this purchase. Now,
Yes.
and again, going back to person A, someone who's trying to buy a vehicle today or tomorrow, you may not have time to submit your credit through your bank, wait for their loan person to get back to you because that may take 1 or 2 days before they come up with a decision. And then they have to email you a letter of approval or, guarantee of payment, whatever the thing is nowadays. So, that person may just simply not have the time. So my viewpoint on all of these questions, Ryan, is just strictly What is more convenient for you? There's no right or wrong answer. So that's just my opinion on that, man. Thanks for tuning in to this episode. If you wish to be a guest on our podcast, visit StirgusCreditRepair.com and click the podcast page to schedule an episode. If you need help with your credit, you can also sign up at StirgusCreditRepair.com and start your free trial today.
Stirgus Credit Repair. Stirgus Credit Repair. If you want a new house, call us.